All right, I am live. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is NextGen Merchants live trading analysis for December 2nd. We're going to start off with the fiat commodities, and then we'll work our way into the cryptos here. This is going to be an overview for today, just because it's been a couple days since we've last did a market analysis. And I'm just going to move over. There we go. There we go. All right. So silver had that beautiful bounce off of this line right here, this area. This pivot zone has been a major point of interest for a while. Now I anticipate that the price will continue to go down as it has since the election. And the reason why is because more and more faith is being poured into the US dollar. So right now, I think what we're seeing is some consolidation occurring within this price area here, and that we might see a little bit more chop. And it's just because Trump's not in office yet, right? He's the president-elect, but not actually in there yet. So we still may see some more chop as we find what this area is going to provide. Is it going to be providing for support or resistance? And I believe that in the coming weeks, we'll probably see it come down and then start to consolidate below this pivot line. That's what, we're right now consolidating above it. My bias is that the American economy is perceived to be strong over the next 4 to 6 months. And so then this price action will likely continue to consolidate, but maybe within this range here below the pivot point. Okay, so that's my thinking of what we're seeing right now. We don't have there's no indication whatsoever that silver is even trying to go after this trend line yet. And yeah, I honestly think it's just this major point of support in the past has also provided resistance, and that is just, I think that's just going to continue for a little while longer, but likely below. So this range here that we see above that pivot line will likely start to happen below. And if we go back into time, we can see that this line here has provided support in the past. So as of right now, we're hanging out above. I think we're going to dip below and probably range down here, making the $27.80 kind of that support going forward for the time being. Again, gold here. Also, we are consolidating above a pivot zone. Now, this pivot zone, though, isn't providing a whole lot of support. As we can see, the price action here dipped a fair bit below, almost even tempting the 2,500 level. And if it ends up doing that, this is that 2,500. I'm going to go ahead. This is going to be a significant area here. You can see it tempted it here, came back up, but of course couldn't continue rallying. And right now, I think we're seeing that consolidation happen above this pivot zone, but same idea. We're going to see it drop back down and find support above the 2,500 level in the coming weeks. Again, likely as that faith in the U.S. economy continues to be restored, as we can see reflected here in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This particular asset I honestly think that we're going, because of AI, the AI bubble is going to make this look good. A lot of the biggest companies today, which, the Dow Jones is the top 30, it's an index of the top 30 corporations of America. And this now is got so much tech in it that AI is going to continue to make this look like a good market for the next little while. I think that once the bubble reaches its peak, March at the earliest, April maybe, that's when we're going to start to see this. Well, I think it's going to coincide with the cyber attack, and it's going to make it look like AI is all of a sudden bad, and we need to have digital IDs in order to make sure that this kind of terrible thing doesn't happen again. I mean, it's the same thing. Remember, Trump brought us into season 1 of the Great Reset. He's the one selected to bring us into season 3. And I believe that this AI bubble is going to coincide with the stock market crash. The pop of the AI bubble is going to coincide with the stock market crash and a cyber attack of some sort, in order to incentivize people to comply with the next set of measures, which will be a digital ID. TSX, this is the Toronto Stock Exchange, showing strength as time goes on here. Even, yeah, look at that. This here is, wait a second. Is it Thanksgiving weekend right now? Yeah, markets are paused. Must be Thanksgiving. I don't even keep track of that. What is the American Thanksgiving? Is that this weekend? Wow, that didn't give me an answer, did it? When is Thanksgiving?
I thought it was last weekend.
Thursday, November 28th. Okay, so yeah, the markets are still closed from Thanksgiving. That's why we haven't seen any new bars today. That's good though. Are we seeing movement? Yes, we are seeing movement on gold and silver. We are not seeing movement on the Toronto Stock Exchange right now. That's no problem. Onwards, crypto 30. So in similarly to the US 30, this is the index, industrial index for the top 30 companies in the United States. The crypto 30 is an index of the top 30 cryptocurrencies. And we can see here that we are crawling upwards towards the all-time high. This all-time high right here at 31,700, that takes us all the way back to 2021, the last time it was there. So we're still climbing up. We haven't even reached that high point yet. This is why I tell people, like, you're not too late to catch this bubble, because the crypto 30 hasn't even reached the levels that it was in 2021 yet. And we're already seeing, since the election, tremendous growth. Bitcoin, very much showing a similar pattern to what the crypto 30 is, because Bitcoin really is that first big asset that everybody gets. If we go back to CoinMarketCap, this is a great tool, by the way, if you want to keep track of more numbers instead of this here can get overwhelming, and I get it. There's a lot of technical analysis that I can teach. I'm utilizing technical analysis simply to find entry points for the market. But when I'm studying cryptocurrencies and I want to see what they're up to and what they're about, what the projects are, what kind of liquidity they've got, I use CoinMarketCap. And we can see that at the very top there is Bitcoin, and the market cap on it right now is at $1.9 trillion. $1.9 trillion. The next biggest coin is Ethereum at 437 billion. So a huge difference between the two. In fact, it's, 4 times as big. Bitcoin is 4 times as big as the next runner-up. So that's why when we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, it looks so similar to the crypto 30 chart because of how much Bitcoin takes up of the market capitalization. Now, what is this? Where are we at? What are we seeing? I'm going to go into the 2-hour chart just because this is what we're looking for is a good entry point. So right now we can see that this big movement since the election, that's what happened here. This great big movement since the election created this high right here. This was at the 91,000. So it just came out of the 90,000s, sliced through the 90,000s or the 80,000s like butter, came up to the 91,000. And it has not, it's moved up for sure, but it hasn't broken that $100,000 mark yet. And ever since then, we've seen a retracement. This retracement right here, that is found support on what used to be resistance. So this used to be price resistance, not able to go much higher. It broke out above, but now it's found that support, no longer showing resistance to it because it's not going below. Now, there are two critical factors to take into consideration right now. Bitcoin is, while money is coming into Bitcoin, there is a lot of money that's leaving Bitcoin right away. And the reason why is because when people are getting started, and they usually start with CoinMarketCap, they're just going from Bitcoin into the next thing. Okay, they get to Bitcoin and then they're looking at everything on here and they're like, oh, look at, I've heard lots about XRP, Tether, that's a good thing to have because, if you have cryptocurrencies, you need to be able to quickly get it back into a stable currency. Solana's for memes. BNB, I must have that because that's for Binance, which is one of the greatest exchanges out there. They don't know what they're talking about when they're doing this. But what they do is that they go to their Bitcoin wallet and they're transferring things out. They're swapping Bitcoin out in their exchanges for all these other coins. So although we have tons of Bitcoin coming into the market, it's coming in and then splitting out and across into the altcoins. And it's not bad. It's a good thing. But what does that do to the price? Well, the reason why we haven't gone above this 100,000 is because so much money comes in to Bitcoin and then the price drops because people are leaving Bitcoin and they're getting XRP and ADA and Polygon and all the Solana, Doge. So that's what's going on. Money's coming in, but then money leaves right away and goes into the other coins. So that effect is going to continue. In fact, I believe with Bitcoin, we're going to see it just get above 100,000. I think maybe even 105, 110. And then it's going to dip down. And the reason I say that is because we have to remember that BlackRock, Vanguard, the JP Morgans, the institutional banks, at the beginning of 2024, they started buying Bitcoin and Ethereum off the books, meaning they weren't buying it directly. They were selling contracts for it, paper contracts for Bitcoin. So this price that we're now watching ever since the beginning of 2024 has actually been manipulated. It hasn't actually been actual because of their ability to sell these paper contracts no differently than what they do with gold and silver. Like the gold and silver prices, they're manipulated, and the reason why is because they can flood the market with paper contracts to make it look like there's activity, that there are trades occurring within precious metals that aren't actually on the books, meaning you're not buying physical gold and silver with these paper contracts. So they can sell and they can market these paper contracts in such a way with such high volume that they can manipulate the price of gold and silver. Well, they couldn't do that with Bitcoin before. And in order to make sure that they can bring everybody into this digital ID and have everybody be enslaved economically, they need to have control over the thing that Trump says he wants to use to help with the economic plan for America. So, with the market manipulation, what the institutions are wanting to do is bring this price up 10,000 to 105 to 110,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. And the reason for it is because once it goes above that, the world's going to go crazy and they're going to buy. No, Bitcoin's over 100,000. Now it's time to buy because people are reactionary. They don't plan ahead like we do. They don't position their money for growth. They are reactionary. They're emotional with it. And so they're going to buy. They're going to get all excited because they're all in on it. It's going to go up and go bounce between 110 and 1.5 for maybe, 5 or 6 days, and then it'll dip. And I think that when it dips, it could come down as far as 76,000 because that's where the last support was after the election. This here, this is just the fun stuff that happens as people start to come in and diversify their portfolios with all the altcoins. But the institutions, they want all those emotional people to lose money, because if they can get those emotional people to lose money when the price comes back down, I'm going to go ahead and draw some squiggly lines here. So here's my projection. If we have a price go up, it could go up as high as 110, I'm thinking. And this is when everybody's going to panic buy. Okay? Call it panic buying, because they don't want to miss the opportunity. They all get excited about it. They're emotional because it's over 100,000. This is when the market's going to flood with a bunch of paper contracts. These are the institutional traders that are managing the multi-billion-dollar portfolios for their clients. They're going to drive the price down, and it's going to do something like this. Bounce off of that high, and then from here, so on and so forth, all the way down to there. I'm just going to see if that, okay, good. So what happens when the price does this and it drops 30-40% right after this beautiful run from the election? Like, this is just great growth. This here, in the same way people were panic buying here, they start seeing that they're losing money here, they're going to start panic selling. And of course, who are they going to sell to? La 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 la. And all the other smart money. And this is the markets, guys. It's a zero-sum game. This point here, dips are for buying, especially when you're in a bull run. The reason why you have price come down is because the universe is putting that asset on sale for you. Now keep in mind, we are not here for a long run. We are here for all of the hype in this particular run. Make sure you have an exit strategy so that you don't get stuck with these assets on the other side of the bubble. But whenever the price goes down, that's when you know it's time to buy. Right now, Bitcoin is not a problem to buy because we are going to go higher than 110, likely to 150,000 within this next 4 or 5 months. That is, so it's still fine to buy. But as the price goes down, buy more, because you want the average price of your coin to be as low as possible so that you get the maximum returns from the bubble. Ethereum. Let's check it out. Ethereum, we've been watching this one for a long time. We've had other trend lines that we've drawn in here, and this one here, this purple trend line, this has been in effect since March, folks. Right here, this is Ethereum, remember? At the beginning of the year, right in here, this is when they launched those paper contracts. And so that's what brought this huge movement up here. Peaked out. Ethereum wasn't worth this. Okay, this was inflated by pouring in paper contracts and just getting people to buy. And so this growth right here created this high. Well, that point hasn't been beat. And in fact, every high since then has gotten lower. This one now is starting to tempt to break out of this long-term trend line. If it does, great news. However, as with Bitcoin, I think we're going to see it bounce up, maybe even push towards the all-time high, and then drop out so that they can get those buyers to panic buy, get the people to panic buy, and then bring the price down, possibly down to here. Like, this is the support that I'm thinking it's going to come back to 2,800, and that's going to get people to panic sell, and this will be the support for the big movement as it goes up past 5,000. Again, it is all speculation, but I mean, we are here at the base of the bubble. So bullish on everything. Cardano, right now, look at this, forming new highs all the time. In fact, right now, oops. Oh, let's not grab that too. There we go. There's the all-time high, sitting today at $1.19 even. Look at all those zeros up there. This is the number I'm looking at right here. Oh, my Ripple doesn't show up. But where my mouse is right there, right up in here, that's the number I'm looking at. That's the high price of the day. $1.19 US. And it just keeps on nudging this little 2024 all-time high. Every day it seems like I'm having to nudge it up a little bit. I think that we're also seeing kind of a stall in the altcoins right now for the same reason why Bitcoin had its stall here over since the election's big peak, right? Bitcoin came up and has been stalling a little bit since, right? We're starting to see that happen now in the altcoins, and the reason why is because once people come into these altcoins, there's another layer of coins underneath them, similar to how, money comes into Bitcoin and then spreads out into these altcoins here. Well, we're going to go through some more assets, but many of these assets further up the line that we're going to be analyzing today, they come from Modic, ADA, Ethereum, so on and so forth. So ADA is also, I believe we're starting to see it kind of plateau as money goes into the alts of Cardano. So, like say for instance, there's the Snake program, there's Singularity Net for AI. Other projects within ADA are going to get attention, and that's going to bring the price of ADA down as it finds support, likely around 82 cents, maybe even 72 cents, before we see the next big push. And the next big push, really, when it comes down to it, if I remember correctly, I think the next big push is going to take us, there's not really much holding us back. If we go back in time here, this is the peak in 2021. This right here, just below the purple line, is where we are right now. So there's not really much holding us back from getting up to that all-time high at $3. So if you want to make a quick triple right now, remember what I said, dips are for buying. So if you have some money and you want to put it into altcoins, I think we're going to see the price come down. This means that you want to plan your purchases to lower that dollar cost average as the price comes back into this pivot point right here. So this pivot point ranges between 83 and 64 cents. And so this is going to be the area that I think we're going to see it bounce back. So again, maybe position it. I was just having this conversation yesterday with someone down south. He's going to be purchasing 3 times this week, all of them with, I think it's a couple $1,000 each. And every purchase, he's going to be he's going to be making sure that it is at levels lower than the one before, so that his average price will likely be around that 80-cent mark. So that's what we're seeing there. Let's move on. Going back to a 2-hour chart on Modic. Modic is or Polygon is the name of the ecosystem. This one here is doing so good, so good. The position that I placed on October 7th, right now, let's just move it over so my hand can, there we go. So I made a purchase here. This is October 7th. And even though it went down to here, that drop didn't faze me at all, because I knew that this was just that last test. And then the election occurred, and it's been going up ever since, creating new highs. So right now, things are really good, looking good on this one. I'm up 66% in the last 56 days, and only just beginning. Because if we take a look, again, zoom out, those higher time frames, they rule over top of the lower time frames. And we can see that right now we are certainly at a point of resistance. And likely, once we get a leg up over top of that, and this, I think this and next week, we're going to see a lot of these altcoins have some volatility as money comes in and filters out into the projects. So right now we're seeing this. I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of a comeback. It'll retrace, find some support maybe at this level here, which is 50 cents, before it takes the next leap. And again, I think we're going to see some resistance at $1. And then a little bit more right about here at $1.35, $1.40. and then up higher at $1.70. Those are going to be the shelves that we have to kind of get past. Those are going to be the points of resistance that we have to get past to get to that all-time high. But overall, even from here, where we are right now at 60 cents, we're still looking at a 382% growth on this coin. And this is just an altcoin. It's not even any of their projects. Solana, specifically built for, well, arguably it was built for memes. It's doing very, very well in funding the meme culture. I'm playing around a little bit with memes, but it's not, I would rather put my money into projects. The memes can be projects, I get it, but they're not really backed by anything other than a fancy picture and community sharing. It's not wrong. So I'm not wanting to put a lot of money into it. So Solana, though, the coin itself being a backer for this meme culture that's coming forward, and some of these memes, they're doing 100%, like they're doing 100x in a matter of days, and it's just the culture. It's just what it is. It's like the penny stocks, right? Very, very high risk. You have no idea which ones are going to actually make it. But Solana is the main coin, the layer one coin that is funding a lot of the liquidity, putting forward a lot of the liquidity for these memes. And so we track this one. This right now sitting at $227. I think this is a very good price. We are seeing it pull back from that all-time high that just got formed a little while ago, and that's normal. Again, it got high, but then it started to divert into the other projects, other memes, and so the price has come down and finding support. Looks like it's finding support here at that 220 level. The next movement up, who knows? We're at an all-time high. So anything that we go above this $264 price point, it's the Wild West. Beyond that, estimates are saying $500 to $600 by the end of this run. So that'd be a double. Injective token also performing very well. This one here I like because of its commitment to see interoperability between the chains. And so they are building an infrastructure to make it where we don't have to use these exchanges all the time to make our trades. And what the work that they're doing is going to make it where you have your coin that you use, and you sit down at a restaurant and they have their coin that they use, but that the transactions can be facilitated without there needing to be an exchange. That's powerful. Basically, everybody just gets to pick whatever currency they want, and whenever you sit down to have a transaction, the smart contracts take care of all of the communication in the background, so you never need a middleman to turn your ADA into Ethereum. It just happens in the background. That's the mission behind Injective token and a lot of the other tokens that are in that DAO. But Injective token and ADA specifically are my two favorite plays within that ecosystem because of their commitment to make sure that, hey, who needs these middlemen? Nobody. We can have the machines do that for us. 3 Protocol. Great project. Still hanging out within this range, and just look at how that price action is just whiplashing back and forth. This very unique chart in this, where it just continues to do that. If you wanted to, you could literally sit here and just make 20%, add to your bag, add another 10-15% to your bag every single time it goes up and down. You can see that it has an average, right? This average, this line right here, this white line is actually the, I think that's the 50. Yep. That is the average of 50 time frames. And so you can see as the price moves away from that average, it bounces back. Well, every single time it bounces away, it's time to buy because it'll bounce back. And then you sell once it gets there. And then wherever it strays, here it strays going up, you'd sell. And then take it back down, past the average. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see that average again. There's the average line right there. The deviation from that line is so great. You could just trade back and forth whenever it gets too far from the line. And you just figure it out. What is it? That's 10% from the line right there. That's 20% from the line there. That's a 9% differential. And then, oh, let's look at this one. That's a 12% differential. Here's another one. This one's a bigger one, 20% differential. Crazy chart for this. It's if you want to spend 2-3 hours a day in front of the screen and just watch this all the time, you could probably make a good 20-30% per day. The purpose, this project is all about making sure that payments can be made through a Visa protocol, so just like your regular Visa card. This card here, 3 protocol, wants to make it where you don't have to have any of your personal identification, like your passport or your driver's license. You don't have to register any of that in order to have an account. Now, this isn't available in Canada for some reason, and I'm okay with that. We can still buy the coin though, and we can still profit from this project as it comes out. Right now, it's just hanging out down here. This high right here is promising, showing us that we do have enough liquidity in here to support this price. So it's a matter of just I think it's going to turn into a utility factor, where as people are coming on and actually using it instead of just investing it, that's what's going to create this price to go up. But right now, it's hanging out at basically this low. It's only 40% up from its all-time low. And in cryptos, that's nothing. Woo! Social trading platform, very much showing some strength. I was saying last week, if someone wanted to, might be worth it to sell because we're getting up to the top of this trend line. And whenever that occurs, we see the pullback. Well, we're not seeing the pullback this time. In fact, it's tempting to go above and break out above. That's typical. I mean, we're here. This is the time for it to occur. So what we're seeing, this price point right now, where it's starting to eke out above this trend line, we are seeing that is previous support and resistance. So what's going to happen? We don't know. But I can tell you right now that if it goes down, I'm probably going to go ahead and add a little bit more. Because Woo, I think, when Woo takes off, it'll definitely go up to its all-time high without a problem, probably by the end of the year. That's 88 cents. Right now, it's sitting at 30. So by the end of the year, you could get a quick 180% growth. You're almost tripling your money. And like I say, if it comes back down and maybe retests this lower trend line, that would be a great spot to buy. BitTensor, major infrastructure project for AI and storage. This one here is sitting at $600 right now. Isn't that interesting that it was just before election we were talking about how much this project will likely go to $4,000 to $5,000. Well, at $416 already, you'd be up 45%, sitting at 600. And then right now, that all-time high is going to be the big one. Once we get out above that all-time high at 786, that's when we're going to see this really take off. Fetch AI, or the Artificial Superintelligence Project. This one here is a decentralized autonomous organization committed to the privatization of AI and the content that AI ends up creating under your command, which helps out with property. This particular project here, I'm excited for it. SingularityNet is one of the leading. They are not leading in the sense that they're coming out with the brandest, newest, shiniest tools. These guys here are the leaders in developing AI that is accelerating the migration away from the screens. This is the best way I can put it. Their commitment isn't to make the fastest AI off the market. These guys are committed to the long game, and I say that because let's go and check it out. So we search fetch. There it is, artificial superintelligence. So Fetch AI, it's listed up here. You can see it. Fetch AI, Singularity Net, and Ocean Protocol have all collaborated to establish this ecosystem. So this is a massive organization of organizations that have come together with the intent of helping people privatize their data. And of course, when you're using AI to generate that data, you can generate large volumes of property. And so these companies, they want that long-term. They're not that interested. Whatever happens with the bubble, they're not that concerned about it. And the reason why is because they've been around a long time. SingularityNet, the owner of SingularityNet, has been developing AI since the early 80s. Okay? These guys are not here for the bubble. They're here for the technology for long term. And so this particular asset will experience a huge influx in the bubble and will sell out when it's at the high. And likely a large portion of what it is that I'm investing, when I sell, I will likely be reinvesting it after into this one here, the fetch, because of its progress and the steering that is occurring with SingularityNet. Again, SingularityNet. This one here, I've got a few tokens of this as well. This one here occurred. I have this particular coin rather, SingularityNet. AGIX is the. You can see it up in this area here. There it is, AGIX. That there is the ticker, and that's on Cardano. So I actually use a different exchange to be able to get this coin individually. But now that this partnership has occurred within Fetch, I'm happy. I'm happy to start bringing it into here, because I think that Fetch will likely see more gains over the next 3-4 months than SingularityNet. Why am I going through all of this? Because after I get these gains, I'll be selling at the highs, whatever that ends up being, slated to be about $20. So if it's at $20, I'm selling for sure. And I'll be taking that money and waiting for the bubble to pop. And the prices will come back down and likely be settling back down around $3, $4. When that occurs, that's when I'll be rebuying, taking all of those gains that I got from the bubble and actually turning around and putting it into SingularityNet specifically. And it's just because of the, it's just the passion that I have for their work. I'm very excited for it. I know that they're not going to disappear after the bubble, whereas a lot of companies are going to go through this bubble, just like we went through the .com bubble. They're going to go through this bubble and they're going to crash on the other side. And I'm looking for. I'm always interested in who's going to survive it, because even if we take a look, if we take a look at Ethereum over the last few years, after the peak here in 2021, this period here was hell for a lot of people. This whole period in this area here. This was hell for a lot of people within the ecosystem. Money wasn't being raised. You couldn't get your project to take off like it could before. But it's the people who survived this period that are now experiencing all the gains. Well, those are exactly those types of people, the ones that stick through the thick. Those are going to be the ones that I want to put my money into after this bubble pops. Are the ones that are going to stick, because then there will be another bubble, especially once the new computer chips are being issued in a couple of years. We can talk about that another time. Let's move on. We've got Desync, my favorite project when it comes to storage and AI. This one here blew out over the weekend, creating new highs, incredible new highs. So watch out, folks. This one is not going to be coming back. It's not going to be coming back. This one here is now ready for the next level, because even that all-time high that we had before this weekend Like it went a nice extension up, and since it extended up, that price is actually retraced already 20%. So this 20% retracement, that's a good sign. After that high, it means that it's come back, found some good support, and definitely ready for the next push. I'm going to go ahead and move this retracement tool so that we can see exactly how much of a retracement we got. Put that at the top, take the bottom of the tool and put it at the bottom of the last impulse. So here's where the last impulse started. I'm going to zoom in so you can see exactly where I put that. So here's where the impulse started. This is the low, and that's the high. So that there, what we call this is the impulse. So 100% of the impulse is here, and the retracement has come back down, and it's even found support almost at the 23% level. So this retracement here is actually a large fraction, a large portion of the entire movement from the bottom. So this retracement's enough. Definitely time to buy. In fact, we're already forming the low with this new bar here. So definitely a good time to buy Destra. Again, even if you miss it today, it's all right. It's not going to be wrong. You're going to do fine. This is still sitting right now under 50 cents, and it's expected to be $5 by the end of the year. So you still got time, and then beyond, even into I think March, April is when Destra. It's going to be one of my exits for sure. 0 by 0, another private AI project. This one here is a smaller one that is specifically more tied in with the smart contracts that govern the privacy of AI data. So it's not like Fetch, for example, which was infrastructure. Okay, and 0 provides infrastructure as well, but that infrastructure is more for the smart contracts around the data. So governing who gets to see it and what parameters you choose for that data to be seen. That's the protocol for 0 by 0. Right now we can see that after this nice big impulse here, finding some resistance at 36 cents, it's pulled back now, sitting at 28 cents at the moment. That's not a bad retracement. If we go to the daily chart, we can see that there's actually quite a bit of a movement here on the daily chart where there isn't support yet. There's a 250% growth here over the last 11 days. 254%. And I believe that what we need to see is a greater retracement coming back down. Now, I don't know, maybe not. Like that's 254. Let's bring up the retracement tool. Let's see what it says. It's underneath. There it is. So take that, bring it up to the top, take the bottom of it, and bring it to this low right there. So I'm measuring from here up to the very top. The retracement is just now touching the 61.8 level. Okay, so it's just now touching it. Might be enough. It might be all we need. But 0 by 0 is certainly showing great strength. The fact that it blew out, think about this. Look at all of these pivot points. There's this line here. There's this line here. There's this trend line here, this long-term trend line, right, that goes back all the way over to here. These points here, these high prices, let's get this out of the way. There we go. These high prices here, they would also typically provide some resistance. But we literally took 0 by 0 from the 10-cent mark here and blew through this resistance, the line resistance, this resistance back here, and we also blew past this resistance here, going above and now settling on top. So we blew past 3 points of resistance. That's huge. That's a very, very strong movement. 0 by 0 is definitely getting a lot of attention right now, and so we're seeing a lot of money coming in. ARC also seeing not within the last little while. It didn't happen as recently as 0 by 0. ARC did a very similar movement, blowing through 3-4 different points of resistance in a matter of days, and right now is forming this rising wedge pattern, we call it. And as we can see, that energy is building up to the point where it's going to blow out pretty soon. It doesn't have much of a choice. It has to break out. Which direction does it break out? We don't know. Given the fact that this is a bull run, I'm saying it's going to go up. When we see breakouts come out of these types of patterns, typically speaking, it is at the same distance as the opening of the wedge. So the opening of the wedge saw the movement go from the 3.5 cent mark up to the 7.5 cent mark, and that provided 100% return. So if it does that again, if it goes this far again, we can expect that price action. So 106%. Let's go like this so we can see how far does 106% take us. 106% takes us basically to the all-time high. So this next movement that we see, let's just zoom back out again and look. Yeah, there is only one more resistance point right here at 8.5 cents. From 8.5 cents, there's nothing. There's no resistance. There was this consolidation zone here, but we can see that there's just not enough data to show any kind of support or resistance stopping it from reaching that all-time high. So when this breaks out, it'll likely shoot right up and test that all-time high very soon. Again, remember, think of it as a great big cargo plane that's reaching the end of its runway. It better take off soon. Link AI is also showing some great strength, moving up from last week, coming up over the weekend. Little bit of a retracement since Sunday, since yesterday midday. Yeah, yesterday first thing in the morning is when it reached that high. So nice retracement, coming back down, finding some support at previous resistance, and we can see, we can see exactly what's going on now. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab this retracement tool so that we can just see what kind of a target we can expect next. So I bring that down to the low. Whee, a little bit too much zoom there. So there we have it. This is the movement that I'm measuring from this low here to this high here. The retracement has come back. It is now sitting at just above 50% of the impulse, right? Now, if you are wondering, oh, wait a second, this distance here, this isn't 50%. It's because I'm on a logarithmic scale on this right now, so it's not linear. Okay, so this movement, that's retracement, is beyond the 50% mark. So this movement, we've lost 50% of it since. So this is a good retracement, great entry point to start buying. Just keep, as long as it's going down, keep buying, and you'll be in a good position, because from here going up to the all-time high, which isn't that far, I think this would probably happen within the week. You'll be up 38%. So a cool $1,000 there will turn into a $380 profit for you. DEAI, or 01 Labs, another great project. Formed new highs again over the weekend. Thank you so much for letting us know. Looks to me like that retracement has also been nice and deep. We came into this little pivot zone here, very deep retracement into this pivot zone. It is ready. It is ready for creating another new high here in the next few days. WorldCoin. Oh yeah, this is another one of those projects where they're looking for interoperability. This one's a deeper one though, a little bit smaller of a market cap, and I think think injective token is bigger. Let's go check that out. Let's go look at the difference. So the injective token is sitting at a market cap of $3 billion. Great diluted value. Nobody's going to be left holding the bag after that bubble pops. So that's a good sign for longevity. But then for world, yeah, it is a little bit smaller, 2.33. And the diluted volume is actually quite large. So this is actually a risky, this trade holds more risk. There isn't as much foundation available within this one. Simply meaning that when this bubble pops, because of how much fully diluted volume there is inside the project right here, that fully diluted volume, when the people are at that top and then the price plummets, the people who are the founders, heavy investors, they stand to lose a lot. And so they're more likely to sell, accelerating the pop of the bubble on the other side of this. Does that make it a bad investment? No, because we're here to take advantage of the hype and make a bunch of money. So the world coin is likely to do this, or it's going to, let's go back to the charts here so we can see. And I'm going to zoom out to the daily chart so we can see just in the scheme of things where we are here. The all-time high is actually quite high at $12. Right now, sitting at $3.22. We are going to see this come up, and in fact, likely go beyond, even to $20, $30. Some people are saying. But because the fully diluted volume being so much higher than the market cap, there isn't the support to maintain that price point, and so it'll pop a lot harder than a lot of other projects. So still good to get the gains. I mean, going back up to, what is that, $20? Yeah, going back up to $20 from here, you're at a 5x. That's great. Just make sure you got an exit strategy so that you don't end up in the position where there is not enough liquidity with it. There's not enough capitalization to cover the liquidity of the positions. So that's what we're wanting. We're wanting to make sure that on the other side, we're a part of the projects that have the longevity. And on this side, we want to be a part of the projects that give us the most returns. So that's what WorldCoin is going to be, would be in my portfolio. I don't have any WorldCoin right now. I've got to just give that disclaimer. I don't have any WorldCoin at the moment. Or maybe I do. I have to double check. Yeah.
I do. Actually, I bought it.
You did?
Yeah.
I do have a trade plotted here, so I must have. I'll have to double check the wallets.
Well, I switched it from my Trog to the world.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was $86 then, and I'm at $115 now.
Got it. Yeah, I'm just going to call up my wallet here real quick, double check. Oh, yeah, I do have some. Yep, I do have some. Just a smaller amount. Okay, great. Yeah, and so then that position, yeah, that must have been marked. I must have marked that one. November 18th is when I got that position, and up now 36%. So great. Awesome. PAL. Moving on. This is a gaming project. Or this is another AI. What is PAL? Let's go see what PAL is. I think it's gaming, if I remember correctly. Oh, okay. No, yeah, this is another AI. That's right. But this AI is being used in gaming long term. So yeah, that's what this is. We can see here smaller market cap on this one. Oh, I lost my. Can't see myself. There we go. So smaller market cap. I'm gonna use. Get my mouse up there. There we go. Smaller market cap, only $233 million. But as we can see, the fully diluted volume is $321 million. So this is good. It has a better ratio than WorldCoin. But PAL had a bad week there a couple weeks ago, and I talked about this on my Telegram when it happened. You can see this all happened in one day. Great big huge drop. This was where it dropped like 60-70% of its volume. I went ahead and bought down here knowing that when we come back up that would give me some nice returns. That's usually what happens when the price deviates a long way from the average. It usually comes back to that average. And sure enough, since that time I'm up 148%. But I want to put a big but in here. This could still be a dead project. It doesn't look like that right now, but we have to be aware of the fact that it could still very well be that. I'm watching this carefully. I'm going to this was a publicity blunder, basically. They we're literally weeks away from seeing massive exponential growth in AI. And so weeks away from that, they made a big change, created a new partnership. A bunch of people in the community didn't agree with the partnership, and so tons of people just left. But since that time, the sentiment has been positive. It's just the people that got angry, they went out and just did a bunch of smack talk. So it really depends on whether or not PAL can survive that publicity error in the way they handled it wasn't to the community standards, we'll call it. Does it matter? Well, when we take a look at what this project is capable of, where the all-time high is way up here, seeing this retracement come down and yet still get a leg up over top of this pivot zone, where before it had some resistance and support, sure, but it blew out of that and is now finding support here at the 28-cent level. That's a good sign. With the all-time high at almost 90 cents, this is still a good 3x from that top. And I think that regardless of whether or not this project actually gets the success that's possible, the project itself shows up enough within social media because of its of how notorious it is over the last little while. I believe that alone will garner the attention for that price to occur. So even with a failed project, I am confident that this price will still bring us up simply because this is the nature of the bubble. So much money is coming in that projects that end up sucking are still going to profit wildly simply because of how much is coming. We saw the same thing happen with the .com bubble. Companies that had no business and virtually no valuation, because they bought a .com, all of a sudden were perceived to be valuable. Same type of thing we're going to see here. So from where we are right now, that's 170% growth. Where it goes beyond that, I don't really care. When we get up to that part there, I'm likely going to take these gains because, I mean, look at that. If I get up to there, that's a 560% gain from where I purchased. If I get that kind of a gain, I'm good. Especially with a project, smaller cap like this, I'm good. I'll just sell it. I don't really care what it does after that. For me to get another 5x, it would have to go up to like $5, right? Well, I can likely get that 5x somewhere else a lot easier, say with something that hasn't moved yet, maybe like 3, right? 3 is still super low. So if I get something that gets me good gains, like if I get a good gain out of PAL, I'll probably just take my gains and throw it into Woo, because I'll more likely grow from 8 cents to 45 cents than I would going from 90 cents to $5. Just going by.
You said Woo. You meant 3, right? Protocol?
Oh, yeah. I said Woo. I meant 3. Yeah, you're right.
Thanks.
That would be a good play based on charts today, obviously. FAR, gaming infrastructure. This particular one is a sleeper. The work that it's doing and the association that it has with Super, which is another big, huge gaming infrastructure community, FAR is in a great position for this growth, this incredible growth. Now, it's going to come in later. AI, the bubble of AI is going to be leading this charge. But then gaming is going to be following shortly thereafter, probably within weeks, simply because the application of AI is going to be given to gaming. And that's where we're going to see the gains in gaming once they start utilizing these new innovations of AI in the development of their games. So with this particular asset here, the all-time high is sitting at just below 22 cents. Between where I purchased this on the beginning of October, and that point there is a 2,300% return. So almost 2,400 even, 23.96. So nice little 20x on this particular asset here. Now again, be mindful. We've got a lot of resistance to work our way through to get to that height. And we also have to kind of wait for the AI bubble. So this one here is this is one of those ones where it's like, if you've been wanting to grab something that's going to 20x, this might be the ticket. Gala. On Gala, this is another AI project, another AI infrastructure project for gaming. Right now, we're seeing over the last few weeks, we've been seeing it grow. I got a position here I think this was just after the election, because I was seeing, this low here was nice and encouraging to see that it didn't go lower than that. We saw this new high being formed. This was a great test. This movement here, I wanted to catch it. And so I got just after the election on the 7th, and already very, very well, performing very well. Right now, 85% up, but finding some resistance. And isn't it interesting? This price point right here is in line with this consolidation zone here. So we might see a little bit more resistance, even a retracement coming back. Either way, not a bad buy, especially when you consider that all-time high is up here at 88 cents. So from where we are right now, 4 cents, going back to that all-time high, is at 1,800% growth. It's like getting involved in penny stocks, folks, at this point, especially with AI and gaming. Next, IMX. This one here is a little bit more stable of a project where we don't see, 90% of the value being dropped, like we did with Gala. Look at this, blasting off from 2 cents, going up all the way to 87 cents. What is that? That's a 42x, 4,200%. And then it dropped even lower than what it started, dropped 98% of its value at its low. From its high to its low, 98% drop in value. Incredible. We don't see that type of volatility within IMX. And so does that make it more stable? Long term, I like how secure I feel about its growth. Gala has a lot of instability with its growth. I think that can change. Let's go check it out. On CoinMarketCap, it has a $1.6 billion market cap with a fully dilated volume of 1.66. If we were to go back in time and look at the data, I would need to actually pull that. But if we were to look back at the time of this big 42x, the fully dilated volume would have been a lot higher, and there wouldn't have been the necessary support. So a bunch of people who made tons of money just sold the project, and then the price went down. Whereas with IMX, we're not seeing that same thing. It's a newer project, newer than Gala, newer than FAR, so it has a little bit more stability, I feel. And so there's more confidence in the growth here. Now, you might not see the 42x like you did last time, but the confidence is here because of its being so saturated. That's what we call that market. It's a saturated, meaning that there's enough liquidity to cover the positions when people sell. Superverse, massive video gaming community. And this is, this one here, we're seeing, if I go back out to the weekly, we'll see. This one here also had the same type of thing as with Gala, where it just dropped. It had a great entry point even. Like when it first got started at the beginning of 2021, it started off at $1.60 and it dropped 95% of its value. But since that time, it's come back up 20 times. So what's the prospect of this one? Well, with the Superverse, what it is a huge community of video game developers from all walks of life, all genres of games. And what they're doing is that they are making it where these games, people can have their in-game currency. Those in-game currencies are actually backed by real dollars. And what they are doing is that they're making it where you can trade from one game into another. So, for instance, not much different than what we do with foreign currencies. It's just now instead of going from one country to other, you're going from one game to the other. And you're simply taking the in-game currency from one game that's real value, and you can switch it into a game currency of another game. That is what the objective behind Superverse is to create an ecosystem of games where you can just move your money around within the games without having to go back to the exchange to realize your value. Very, very powerful. So again, I don't really care about what the technology is, whether it's good or bad. My purpose here is to help people just get some returns from this bubble so that they can make their money grow, especially after all the economic downturn we've been experiencing the last 4 years. Sundog, this is a meme. Just to have full disclosure, this is a meme that I bought, and I bought it a long time ago, back when I was super excited. This was back at the end of September. I made a purchase, and it's dropped ever since. It's not out of the game, but it's certainly dropped a long ways. I'm not that concerned. Again, I'm experimenting here. It was $100 that I put in simply just to test it out, what would happen. And I don't see it being gone out of the woodwork yet. In fact, the narrative around it is that it's very positive. It's simply drawn down at the moment. As we watch towards between now and the end of the year, and especially within the first 3-4 months of 2025, the memes are going to really take a huge spotlight in how much money people are making. And there's going to be also just as many terrible stories about how much money people are losing. But because of the novelty, there will be a big, huge push into meme coins. And that's already started, in fact. But we're going to see it intensify into the opening of 2025. And so this one here is, again, short little $100 fun test. I don't really care what happens to it. It's just kind of fun to watch. Bonk, on the other hand, that one didn't go down after I bought. Well, I did a little bit. But the retracement has already provided a 71% return with an all-time high of 4 zeros and a 6. Who knows where it would go? Some people joke about how it'll go to 1 cent. And if it goes and ends up becoming 1 cent from where we are right now, 1 cent right there is 23,000% increase. So will this go up 230 times? Who knows? It's a meme. Anything's possible. And it's called Bonk, which is just a funny name. So who knows? NPC. This one actually I think is going to outperform most of the memes here in the first little bit, and only because of the narrative around this one. we've got major social media influencers, we'll call them, including Elon Musk, that is dropping this meme every once in a while and using the language around the meme, using the euphemisms around the meme, is what provides that faith in its value. And look at this, folks. I mean, we talked about Gala, a highly sophisticated technology infrastructure for AI and gaming, and it's at $1.5 billion. But we look at NPC, the non-playable coin. It's only at 262 million, and it gets more social media action than Gala. Why? Because it's a meme. So again, as we head into 2025, I think that non-playable coin will likely be one of the major performers. So there we have it. I like Mondays being like this, where I go through all the assets, we analyze all these charts. For the remainder of the week, probably just go look at a few charts, spend some time in CoinMarketCap looking at other companies and other opportunities, especially as we start to see the beginning of this bubble come into play. You're going to see 200-300% returns, and you're going to want to know where to put that money after it grows. The ongoing market analyses that we do are going to be researching the emerging opportunities where we can take that money as it's growing and grow it further, compounding the compound interest within our trades. So there we have it. That's market analysis for Monday, December 2nd. Any questions, queries, comments? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. How are you doing, Maria? It's been a while since we've seen each other. Oh, and you're muted. You're muted at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Hi. Everything is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good to see you again. And it was awesome presentation. So thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome. Most welcome.
So I guess Paul,
super exciting.
What I would like to see is a few more possibilities of where the trend is going and where I can, because I guess my strategy is I've bought and now I've got some profits, right? And I want to leave money in them, but I want to take some of the profits and move them into something else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, totally.
So
and super smart.
I want to see what the next kind of trends are, what coins or whatever's are the next trend to make me that more profit, right? So I can kind of, because like I said, I'm going to leave some in the ones that I've got until they max out, right? And they start going down. But I want to do something with this profit that I've got, right? That maybe little bit longer term, and just, keep it going.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's focus on that for tomorrow. Let's make sure tomorrow when we do market analysis that we're looking at some new projects, maybe coins up that none of us have bought yet. There are a few that I've been watching. One in particular that has been coming across my desk a couple of times here in the last week is Carrot. It's a smaller market cap, so this is going to be a volatile one. This is going to be one that would need to be more saturated for me to feel good about being in it after the bubble. But it's been garnering a lot of attention, kind of a sleeper project in a sense, where within the eco space nobody really thought it was legit, and then all of a sudden it made some big partnerships and is on some major exchanges like KuCoin and Crypto.com and Coinbase. Whenever that occurs, that automatically signals to the investors, or it gives the coin more exposed. It's just more exposed to the market, right? There's just more opportunities for people to see it. And so with Carrot now being put onto these exchanges and being a major infrastructure project for AI and gaming. This one here is likely going to be that. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, so I apologize.
That's the KARRAT, right?
Yep, there's the listing on. Yeah, this one here, it was probably about 2 weeks ago that it first came across my desk. I think I mentioned it once last week.
Yep.
And yeah, it's still doing very well. And if we take a look at that price action over, that's over a day. Let's go to all. So we can see right now that it's well below the average. That's what that red means. We're well below the average where we expect it to come back. So right now sitting at 58 cents, 90 cents is kind of like that next target. All-time high, what does it say there? Yeah, $1.16 is the all-time high. We'll go through a bunch of projects like this one. This one here, I feel is going to be kind of like one of those, watch it carefully because you might have like maybe 2 or 3 days notice to sell.
That's why we're on here every day.
That's why we're on here every day. Exactly. So yeah, definitely. And we'll open up. Do I have other ones here? No, these are all the altcoins. Yeah. Once your altcoins start to retrace, that will be when you'll want to start bringing them into the next layer down. So for instance, for Maria, for you, so that you can kind of get an idea, Ethereum and Bitcoin are like those big behemoths that everybody gets first, right? Well, after that, they are looking to layer 2 coins. Layer 1 coins are like Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Modic, Solana. Those are all layer 1 coins, meaning this is where you first get started. And then all of the projects, the different companies, they issue their stocks in the form of tokens on layer 2. So SingularityNet, I talked about SingularityNet. Let's go bring it up again. SingularityNet. Ready? This one here is a layer 2 coin on Cardano. So in order to get this, you got to start with Cardano. So those altcoins are the layer 1, where everybody comes in first. Then once those go up and they start to dip down, that's when you want to start selling these layer 1 coins going into layer 2. So that's what's happening. If Ethereum, for example, once you have Ethereum, you can swap it out for 0x0 or desync or fetch or Woo or whatever else. And so those layer 2 coins are now where the money's coming in. We're seeing that, like if I go to ADA, maybe not so much. That's not so much a great example because of ADA is paving the way in a couple of other ways that the other coins aren't, and it's in real world assets. So ADA will probably have a different type of chart than say Modic or Solana. But like for instance, Solana, we have this coming up and it's pulling back, and it's because people are taking money out of Solana and they're putting it into layer 2. So our objective, is to have it where you get those basic altcoins and then you move that, like what Audrey's talking about, sell half, sell 50% after you make a big gain, sell 50%, and 50% of it is going to go into some of these other coins that will then you could easily, in Polygon's case, this is Polygon, I am up 64% right now. The strategy is to take from this layer 1 coin and put the growth that you get into a layer 2 coin. Well, here I would probably wait a little bit longer. I would like to see 100% growth. So once I double it, I'll sell half. And I'll take that half that I just made and I'll throw it into FAR probably. Just because I think that FAR and Gala and FAR are going to be the 2 big gaming coin plays that end up going 20x. But before I get that 20x, imagine I could get 1 or 2x before that. That's the strategy. So, yeah, and if you need help with that, let me know. We can sort it out. We can work together online to get your wallet set up so you can do these swaps.
Okay, so you're saying that without buying a coin 1, you cannot get coin 2.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I would suggest getting your wallet set up though first. If you
Yeah,
haven't
let's
with your
set.
wallet, that's number one, because that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Together, let's get the wallet set up, and then you put the money in that wallet, and that's when we start swapping out, and we start putting it into these other coins that are now basically the way to look at it is you've got an index. Okay, like if you wanted to trade on the New York Stock Exchange, you got to go and get a brokerage account. In a similar fashion, that's what each of these coins are. Basically, your liquidity pool for you to invest in stocks. And it's the L2, layer 2 coins, like up in here, those are the individual company stocks.
Yeah.
So that's how you can look at that.
I think I do have a wallet already because I was sending you ADA, remember?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I have a wallet already. Yeah, I do because
Yeah. And the ADA wallet, that is one ecosystem. That's one ecosystem of companies.
Yeah.
If you're interested in, say for instance, WorldCoin or ARC, 0x0 or Desync, these ones here, they're on Ethereum. So your ADA wallet won't be able to swap for those.
See, yeah.
So if those are something that you are interested in, let me know, and we'll set up a time where we set up your Ethereum wallet so you can make those swaps.
Sounds good. Thank you. I will.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, that's it. That's a nice one. Everybody have a good rest of the day. I'm gonna go grab some breakfast, and I'll be back into the private game room thereafter if people want to come visit.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
I may have a few minutes. I have a time.
Okay, great.
I do want to ask you a few questions.
Perfect.
Okay,
We'll see you there.
sounds good. Yeah. So I'll contact you after, like maybe this afternoon. Thank you so much, Bob.
Perfect.
See you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you're welcome. You bet.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.